Omid.
Hello, welcome to the Kojo show.
The greatest show on the whole of Instagram and YouTube combined. There's never been a better one.
And TV.
And TV.
Yeah, come on now.
We're not even on there. But,
who needs it?
So today we've had some questions from you guys. We've had some struggles. You've shared with us your difficulties. There are a couple in common. There are a couple of more unique ones. And there are a couple of people who sent me a video there. They're full. But we're going to be going into some of those struggles. And the first one, this is one that me and Omid have both dealt with as well, quite a bit this year. And I think a lot of you watching will have dealt with. And that's having to train outside. Your gym's closed, you got to train outside. It wasn't that big a problem in the summer or in the spring. But now it's the winter. What do you do? How do you progress? I saw some guy from London posting a tricking group saying, oh, gyms are closed now. Yeah. No, I was just getting good. No more tricks until the new year now. So I know some people are just not tricking. But you know me, Sam Kojo. No way would I not be tricking. Come on, be serious. If it's raining, get wet. But we're going to give you some solutions, some tangible solutions. Do you want to start off, Omid?
Yeah.
I've got plenty, but...
First one, there's going to be, especially because of like all the COVID restrictions and stuff, there's going to be somewhere that is undercover that normally may have people nearby or whatever, but because things aren't as open or open for as long, you can train underneath a thing.
Are you saying concrete training?
Yeah, concrete training.
Like multi-story car park.
Yeah. Multi-story car park, something like that. Sorry, I'm struggling. I need, once this little coffee's in me, I'll be fine. But concrete training, just obviously dumb the level down and you'll be fine.
Were you ever into that?
Yeah, I used to train concrete.
Because I think it can be a lot on your joints.
Yeah, but if you do lighter stuff, if you do stuff that you're, I don't know, that you're better at, then it's good training, but you don't have to be pushing it too hard.
True.
And it improves your overall strength level. It's just that you need to do it in a safe way.
See, now, I take a bit of a different approach at my ripe old age, you know, pushing 40 at this point. I'd say you want to find somewhere, like, let's say it's raining, it's cold. You wrap up loads. Wrap up loads so you make sure you're going to be warm. And then if you can go into a forest, train under some kind of canopy. That's what I do. Because, yeah, it can be quite slippy if you're on that, you know, kind of mulch, bark sort of surface. It can be a little slippy, but it's much softer. And I take something that's soft and a little bit slippy because I'm just training basics anyway. So actually having that element involved, like, oh, I could slip, it means you have to do stuff with even more precision. You have to use even better technique. And it's much lighter on your joints. It's harder to take off if the floor has a bit squish to it. So it's actually like making it even harder to do those tricks. And with your overall approach, because a lot of people ask, like, in fact, I'll read to you some of these questions so we can answer them more specifically. Well, here's a pretty basic one. How could I still trick properly when the grass is soaked and it's cold outside? Let's say you were trying to get really good at double cork. You're about the level where you're trying double cork. You can't quite get it. Now, I wouldn't recommend on the mulch or wet grass or concrete or anything like that trying double cork. But what you could do is you could work on your double cork takeoff technique. Because what takes off the same as a double cork? A really high cork. A more lifted cork where you flip a bit less. So you could practice doing cork as high as you can. You could practice setting your gainer really high. Doing cork variations. Doing really easy things. But the focus isn't even on like the cork. The focus is on being able to take off for height. And then when you do come round to try and double cork again, you're so used to taking off for height that it's not that hard to add the extra twist in. You didn't have to do any harm to your body. You didn't have to do anything really scary. And you've built that technique, you've built more power. And when you come into a gym, everything's going to seem super easy.
Yeah, I mean, I know when I was younger, I agree with what Kojo is saying, but I know when I was younger, I was a lot more scared of wet grass because it's a variable that seems a lot harder to really manage, because when you're not quite as good at any tricks, within your first few years, you're not going to be that good at tricks with the understanding to kind of know exactly what you need to do in order to prevent slip. Even if it's a super simple trick, 1 in 100, 1 in 200, those are still not chances I'm trying to take if I'm going to slip and break my knee in half. So if you were going to do the same thing with the concrete, if that feels more comfortable to you in a multi-story car park or whatever, then just work on the takeoff for a gainer, if that's all you can do comfortably. And because it's a lot harder for you to do it, you don't have to be slamming and like blocking off the ground really, really hard. You can just refine the technique of the swing, what you're doing with your arms, your shoulders. And because it is a lot harder than doing it on a spring floor and even grass, it means you're going to get stronger a lot faster. So then when there is a drier day and you can do stuff on grass or on the mulch, then it's a lot easier.
You're on fire. You're unstoppable.
You're actually on fire, and like it's a problem.
Double gainer to split first try. But seriously, it can actually be quite useful. You can see it as a bit of a blessing.
Yeah.
It's going to work on your mindset. You're going to be stronger. Like, don't see it as like, oh, I can't train in a gym, I'm not going to be able to get as good. Nah, this is a chance for you to make your mindset stronger, to make yourself more motivated, more able to deal with different training situations. If you can train and progress in the rain, in the winter, outside, think how easy it's going to be for you to progress when you have gym access.
And if you train these kind of things, it means when you do make the progress throughout that time that you can't train in the gym, it means so much more, because it was so much more of a mental and physical battle for you to get there.
Yeah.
So
you got to kind of see it as starting again as well. Like, now you have to train outside, your gym's closed. Don't see it as like you're the same tricker. You're not trying to do, if you're trying to do the things you were doing in the gym and it's going terribly, it's just going to be really demoralizing. You're more chance of you getting hurt. It's just not going to be that useful training. See it as you starting again. Work on your aerials, your gainers, and basic combos with them, and build up through the stages. Trying to do everything as perfectly as you can. Like, really focus on how you do things. I think you can get a lot of enjoyment from taking like one trick you find quite easy, trying to do it perfect. Because then all the harder versions of it are going to be way easier as well. So it's not a waste of time or anything like that.
Yeah.
One of these questions says, yo guys, I just hurt my wrist so bad because I'm training at home on hard floor and not in a gym. So don't blame the gym, blame yourself. You hurt your own wrist. The hard floor didn't hurt your wrist, you hurt your wrist. You slammed it into the floor, you did something wrong.
Guns don't kill people, rappers do.
Exactly. Now it happens, we all make mistakes and hurt ourselves sometimes. I have an injured wrist at the moment because of doing a TD raise completely wrong on grass, hurt my wrist.
And
but that was me.
himself.
It wasn't the grass that did it. It was me. So make sure you're working through progressions and doing things right. Like, if you're going to be jumping onto your hand, then make sure you know what you're doing before. Like, that's what I did wrong. After 2 hours, and I was like, just not even thinking, and threw myself onto my hand on wet grass so it squished in, messed up my wrist. My own fault. And there's a big benefit. If you see it as your own fault, you're like, oh, I'm stupid, why'd I do that? Then you can learn from it and prevent it in the future. Whatever choice you made that led you to hurt your wrist, you're gonna not make that choice again, and it won't happen again. And you'll just keep making mistakes, learning from them, and eventually you'll be like this guy. You'll have a neck beard, and you'll be doing big tunnel flips.
No, I mean, you got to be holding yourself accountable when you're in a situation that may feel as though it's out of your control. If you take control of the situation and hold yourself accountable for how good or how bad you're going to be once all of this is blown over, that's where you're going to find true progression, because it means that you accept the wins and they're because of you, and it means you also deal with the losses when you've done something wrong, so you learn from them. So just make sure you're, I don't know, holding yourself accountable.
Exactly. There you go. Omid with the responsibility.
Hey, look at me.
Alright, we got some more ones.
Why can't I open this? What the fuck?
This was a good one. I've not told you this one yet, Omid. What are you trying to do? What are you doing?
There was a question, but it's gone now.
No, I've got questions. I got a good one.
Go on.
I got one from Lara. Lara says, hi Kojo, I have another question. Do you think there is a way to get access to a trampoline when you live in a flat and don't have a gym? Now, if you've seen us blabbering on about stuff, you'll know we blabber on about trampolines sometimes and how useful they are for getting good at tricks.
Yeah, they're good.
But you live in a flat, you don't have access. I live in a flat at the moment, don't have access to a trampoline. What will I do? There's a few different things. If you could, like, it's not going to be accessible to everyone, but if there is a trampoline park, can you go to the trampoline park? They're normally pretty overpriced, so what can you do about that? talking to the people who work there, trying to swangle yourself a deal. Can you pay monthly and maybe just go at off-peak times if you're able to go off-peak? Can you pay for like a year and get some big discount to go on an unlimited amount? That's one option.
Get a job though.
Get a job if you don't already have a job.
Yeah, but like
it is quite fun working at a trampoline park. You just get to bounce around all the time, tell people off about their socks. It's great. But another thing you can do is get yourself a mate. If you can find any other people someone who maybe has a trampoline, if there's other people who trick, but that could be hard too. Another thing you could do, join a trampoline club. There's normally trampolining clubs or gymnastic clubs pretty much everywhere. You might not be able to do tricking stuff that much on a trampoline, but you can still do some trampolining, which will help. I don't know, there's not always going to be a solution for that, because if there is no trampoline nearby and you don't have space for a trampoline, then you can't have a trampoline. Where one person said, where I live, there are literally no gyms. First off, in my experience, from the amount of people who've said that to me, they're normally wrong. There probably are gyms. No one does gymnastics where you're from. No one does gymnastics. It doesn't exist.
Unless you live in a log cabin up a mountain.
See, this is what I've learned. It's normally bullshit. When people say there are no gyms in what radius?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Because people say there's no gyms near me, and it's like they expect one to be 2 minutes away from
down
the
the road.
It's like we've travelled for literal like 2-3 hours just to go to a session, just multiple times.
Weekly going to our Leicester Friday session was a 2-hour round, like 2 hours each way to get there and back. Cycling, getting public transport, getting back at midnight.
Yeah.
And we did that every week. That was just one of our sessions.
Yeah.
So there's no gyms within a 2-hour radius of you. Are you certain about that? No. So how many miles can you cover with public transport and stuff as well? I mean, at least like 70, 80 miles in that much of a radius around you. No one does gymnastics.
Also, if you live in America,
that is bullshit.
It's bullshit. Yeah. It's just straight
unless
bullshit.
but you can live way out there in the country.
Yeah, but if that's the case, if you're is it 16 you get a car? If you're under 16, it's just hard.
Oh, here we go. There is a gym 2 hours away. You need to be 10 people to book the place. You need to find 10 people. Yeah, but there's probably more than one gym. Like, what country do you live in?
I bet you.
Because there probably is more than one gym within 2 hours. You just don't know about it. I live in Sweden. There's gyms. There's loads of gyms in Sweden.
Get your
Sweden's one of the richest countries in the world.
What city? What town?
Oh yeah.
Where? And I bet you we can Google something and find it. I'm not even joking.
No one does gymnastics.
This is like actually we're going to solve the problem.
In a country like Sweden, of course there are gyms.
There's more.
Like people do gymnastics. People have money there. There's loads of Swedish trickers as well. Like Sweden's been one of the highest concentrations of gyms, like places we've been to. There's always. I mean, maybe you live way out there.
Okay, where though specifically? You said southern Sweden.
I don't know. We're going too specific. The point is, I don't know how long you've been tricking, but after 10 years of training, there's a gym in Malmo.
There's multiple gyms in Malmo.
We've been there. Been to them. It's got a sauna in the gym. It's one of the best gyms I've been to. It's got a resi pit. They've got a gym there.
Come on now.
Maybe that's the one he's talking about. But that gym, I don't know. But you can normally there's gyms.
Speak to some of the old Swedish trickers.
Basically, the take home what we're trying to say before, because we've got to go too into specifics for everyone, is you've got to be open minded to it. You can't have the mindset like, oh, there's no gym. You got to be searching for that opportunity, because there is going to be an opportunity somewhere. Yeah, it might be a dojo that you can end up getting some kind of deal with. It might be some kind of circus acrobatic place, but there's going to be somewhere with mats that you can train. If you're prepared to help them out, you're like, oh, I'll even clean it.
Clean your floors. I'll do whatever.
I'll do whatever. I help out. I'll be an assistant coach. I'll
kiss you hard on the mouth.
I'll kiss you hard on the mouth. Like, if you're prepared to help out and go out of your way, there is going to be somewhere. And I think you have to start with that mindset. Otherwise, you won't even look. Yeah. And what I was getting onto a minute ago before is after like 10 years of training in Birmingham, I found a gym that I'd never heard of before. That one that we drive past. Yeah. Like, even after that, even after me knowing hundreds of people who do flips, running sessions at a gym, working at multiple gyms, training with all the free runners, all the trickers, gymnasts, I found out about a gym I'd never heard of that was like 15 minutes away.
And he wasn't even really looking for it.
Yeah, so there's probably more gyms. People do gymnastics. Like, there's gonna be gyms. In a country like Sweden, there are gyms. Like, you gotta find them. Yeah. Maybe ask more of the Swedish trickers about it.
Yeah.
Because he asked which one, but I'm not sure. But if you ask like Mons, he was there. He came to the session with us. I'm sure he'd know. Or Jesper, or what. Like, I'm sure they'd know.
Or message Vils von Willington.
Yeah. We got some more questions. This is a bit of a saucy one.
Oh, this one's funny.
This is a bit of a cheeky one, alright? This one's on the nose, if you will. What's the best way to go about DMing a girl, a female? I feel like nowadays anyone can try to get a girl by texting her with whatever they think works. But she can just filter all of it out. All bullshit. Since for all she knows, the person texting her could be a bit messed up in the head.
Like messed up.
Talking to them in person may not be an option if you've never met the person before. Brackets. And since I'm not messed up in the head, I'm not going to follow them home in my white van. Close brackets. You all are studs. What do you all think is the best way to talk to a girl online that makes you stand out? Maybe I'm just overthinking everything. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But we got the answers. Now, I'm not, I'm a committed man. I'm not out playing the field. I'm not, I'm not a seedy Middle Eastern. But I do happen to know a seedy Middle Eastern. I do happen to know one.
Listen, so I don't have all the answers. I'm just alright with, I don't know, speaking to people as a whole. And I think what the person who submitted this question, because remember, all of your questions are anonymous, so if you've got any more, send them through to us. But the secret is you've got to be a little bit different. You've got to be a little bit mental. So what is it that you're going to say to this person that's going to actually get their attention? But you can't go too far and sound like a menace. So it could be anything. Try as many different things as you want. Because at the end of the day, if someone's not into your introduction, then there's always another person.
So are you saying just to full send it and not?
Yeah, just full send it and just see what response you get. Because I said it before, but when I called that girl, said she looked like a bird of prey.
Yeah.
She responded. She laughed. Yeah. She was into it, but she didn't want, her first date being filmed and put on the internet. that one was a bit too far. But yeah, you just gotta fucking
because you can't control their reaction anyway. So you can't give, especially if it's someone you don't know, because just from my experience in the past, it's like you could find someone who you think like you really like, you like the look of, but they might be shit anyway.
Well, that's the thing.
You could get to know them, they're shit anyway. So don't put them on too much of a pedestal because they're probably shit. Most people are shit.
And also, generally, you don't want to give any one person, whether it be a girl that you're trying to get involved with, or whether it just be your friend or family member, you shouldn't give anyone all of the power. But if you're walking into this conversation being like, what if she doesn't like it if I say this? It's like you immediately give them all of the power, so you're immediately a little bit of a cuck. And nobody wants that. No woman is going to be like, I want to be with someone who's really scared to speak to me. You just need to fuck it and see what happens.
See? I told you I knew a Middle Eastern who would sort you out. There you go.
So who was it? Cruz.
Okay.
Right, I need to show you guys something, so I'm going to share it on the screen.
Have you got the pictures on there?
Yeah. I just don't know where they are.
I'm going to show them to the YouTube audience. So, go on.
Bear with me, because Cruz is an absolute legend.
It's just a white screen.
And he sent us some sketches. But obviously I can't find them at all. So, here they are. Here we go. So Cruz.
Too bright. I'm just going to edit it onto the screen.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, I'm just going to do that.
Cruz sketched this of Kojo. In KTL shorts.
It's saying sign up to Kojo's Trick Lab, which, by the way, you should all do. You should be doing.
And here's me. I look like a man.
You look like an icon.
I am an icon. You missed the neck beard though. You've got the butt chin, but I'm getting the neck beard back. So that's gonna have to make an appearance again soon because I'm growing.
You should just go full neck. You should get rid of the mustache and your new thing, and then
it's just got to be like hair from here down.
2 years from now, people commenting on your video like, "Where's the neck beard? We need neck beard back."
Yeah, I don't know. I'm growing the mustache and I'm growing a Jafar beard. That's what I'm going for. So and I don't say anything on this picture, but what it should say is buy supply.
Okay, we got a couple more to cover. A couple more important questions. Big questions. Yeah, you just got to go all the way back, mate. Scubbed his live.
Well,
Scubbed his bloody live.
Messed it up. Go on, just say your thing.
Okay, my thing, yeah. So here's the question. My man sent a scoot dub. He landed on his hip. Didn't quite make it. Tried his best. Didn't quite make it. He said, here's a dub for Kojo and Omid show with a licky mouth face. One of them. How do I stay motivated doing a struggle trick I've been trying and failing for over a year? How do you stay motivated with those tricks that just won't work? You try your best. You just can't do it. You just keep falling. You're getting nowhere. You're going backwards. You're getting worse. What do you do?
Probably because you're doing the wrong thing. And that should be the first thing you identify. What is it that is making me not progress with this? And it's probably not because of even a physical thing that's gonna like change the whole thing. It's where you start with going into that trick mentally. You need to understand the trick well enough in order for you to actually progress with it. If you feel like you've got a good understanding of something, 9 times out of 10, you don't. It's the same for me.
Because there's always more to know.
The more I learn, the more I realise I don't know shit about shit. And you need to learn in order to then progress.
That's one angle. There is the knowledge side. Sometimes you're missing something. I've struggled with the tricks I've struggled with for like years and years. It was pretty much always because I was missing a couple of things, and no one covered it in any tutorial because most tutorials are pretty basic. People don't cover things properly.
But quick question: did you think you understood it well?
I thought I somewhat understood it. I understood it to the point where I got how it works and I knew the prerequisites and understood them fairly well. And I'd heard different advice from different people, but none of them said the things that needed to have been said to fix it for me. And I'm talking about touchdown raise and more recently side swipe, because I've recently been fixing my side swipe. And it was actually Vios's tricking axis tutorial on KTL that helped me fix it. And I've been struggling with it for like 6-7 years. But yeah, so to stay like, so that's one side, the technique. There's probably some things you're missing. There's more you could know. Screenshotting, like going through it frame by frame, seeing how you're taking off. Are you dropping your shoulder? Because I'm pretty sure from that video he sent me, I'm pretty sure he's dropping the shoulder and leaning back too much, traveling backwards too much. So the further you travel, the more distance your feet have to travel, so the harder it's going to be for you to flip. If you land on the same spot, it'd be a lot easier. How do you land on the same spot? Spot the floor in front of you for longer. If you're spotting the floor in front of you, you can't look backwards because you're like this. That will keep you more upright. And also pushing your hips forwards. That's going to help you to not travel backwards as well. You do those two things, travel less, go higher, should be a bit easier. But there's also the mentality side of things. When you failed something for a long time, you get used to failing it. So changing your training methods, so instead of trying and failing, it becomes taking a step closer. That's a really, really big one. You don't want to think, I want to get scoot dub, I'm going to try scoot dub, fail scoot dub until I get it. Instead, if you could go to the session and think, how well can I do a scoot full D-leg? I'm going to do the highest scoot full D-leg. I'm going to do scoot full with a late half twist at the end, as high and easily as possible. I'm going to do round off double full, or I'm going to do double full on a trampoline. I'm going to do double full on a trampoline from standing. You want to work on things you can land, like flipping from a height onto a crash mat. You try and find things that help towards the trick you're trying to do, which you can actually land, and take small steps. If the best you can do is hyper, drill your hypers loads, because that's going to be more useful than you just slamming on the trick. Because every time you fail, you get used to failing, and it's going to get harder for you to believe that you can do it because you're really used to failing it. So try and find progressions that you can actually land would be a big piece of advice.
And just one other thing is just reminding yourself that it's gonna take a while.
Yeah, it's a process.
You got to be patient. That's it. Sometimes it's going to take a long time. If you've been trying something for a decade and you've got nowhere with it, then you need to be asking yourself completely different questions. But if you've been doing it for a year, even 2 years, couple of months, couple of weeks, you need to remind yourself that this is like a lifetime endeavor. This is a long process, because it's not just that one trick. This is a battle against every trick that you want to learn. So just keep working towards it and you'll get there eventually.
Yeah. Is a different one that kind of leads on to this, with the motivation and managing to overcome these struggles that we have with these spinning kicks and flips. In tricking, I've been struggling with power moves recently, which for me is just scoop dub or dub cork on ground. The agonizing part of this is that back in April of this year, I would land every dub full / double cork I tried, even in combos.
Travesty.
But now, it's a struggle to pull them. I don't train power as much now, because I try to train unique style tricks as well. But I wish I would stop progressing backwards in regards to doubles. Do you want to go first on this one, Omid? Am I tapping in the Beast from the East, the Sultan of Sketch, Mr. Phantom Limbs,
Mr. Fantastic. I'm going to be Mr. Fantastic from now on. Get that tattooed across my chest.
Old Neville neckbeard.
Fucking hell.
Easy.
Slipped over, sat down. Anyway, so yeah, this is actually quite it's a broad one. You can approach this in many ways, because I know for me, I've always wanted to be powerful, but that's never been the forefront of what I envision for my tricking style. So it is something that I've had to kind of contend with throughout my entire tricking training. If it's just about balance and using your time efficiently, if that comes down to actually planning your week, planning a month, planning your sessions one by one, whatever you want to do, so that you know that it's not just like all over the place. You're going to be training style stuff this session and power stuff this session. You can block it in because you know your body. You know whether you're going to be feeling achy after this session or whatever. And I find that helps a lot, because you need the power to put into the stylish tricks. Otherwise, all your style shit's just going to be ass. But you also need power when you're doing power sessions. So just do a 50-50 split or 60-40.
Also
whatever you need to do.
combining them.
Yeah.
Combining them. Like maybe try and do your power stuff comboed into the stylish things you want to work on.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. If you can combine the two, then you can improve at both. Like you don't have to... The thing is, we've talked about this before as well, but there is a finite amount of things you can train. Like you can't train everything. No one can train everything. It's all about choosing how much you want to put into each thing. But there are some little hacks, especially with power things. If you can get on a trampoline, that's going to be the easiest way to get consistent power moves down without even training them. You can train them like once every week or two, and you could have these things consistent if you're putting in time on the trampoline, just repping them.
Yeah.
So that's one easy way, but I know not everyone has access to a trampoline. I don't at the moment.
Yeah.
But there was another thing I wanted to say with the whole, you feel like you're going backwards. This is really normal. No one progresses like this. No one progresses like that. I mean, someone said, oh, here we go. Someone always, this is about my last point of you can't train everything. Someone always says this whenever you bring it up. Someone said, except for Guthrie. So, yeah, you can train everything. If you start when you're 5 or 6 years old, it's a different amount of time everyone has. Some people, if they started when they're 5 or 6, then they do have enough time to get good at pretty much everything, but that's barely anyone.
It's such a small minority.
Even Michael Guthrie, it's not like he's doing full in, full outs, or doing corking back out. Like, no one can be the master of everything. And that's even when, that's the person with the most access out of anyone in history. So I did the same thing. We fell into the same trap. When I started tricking, I started doing flips when I was 16 and started finding out what tricking was around 17. And I was like, yeah, I want to be able to get all the tricks. I want to be like Michael Guthrie. But in reality, when you actually know more about how it all works, you kind of have to choose the things you want to be really good at. Because how can someone who started when they're 17, who tries their absolute best, be as good as someone who started when they're 6 and has their own gym and is homeschooled and is also trying their absolute best? It doesn't make sense. There are some things that just aren't physically possible. But so I'd end up doing all these tricks but doing them badly. But instead I could, as someone starting at 17, I could get really good at like the things I want to get really good at. That's something I could do. And I think it's important to have a goal that is possible for you to achieve. Otherwise it can be demoralizing.
True, but I get why some people would look at what we're saying, listen to what we're saying and think, well, I don't want to admit that. Because I remember I had difficulty, even after I've been training for like 4 or 5 years, I had difficulty looking at it like, well, I've got to let go of this original dream of wanting to be the best. And I just realized that my idea of the best didn't mean being better than everybody else. I just had to acknowledge that my idea of what I wanted to create with my tricks was what would make me the best in my eyes, because that's all I'm gunning for. Tricking is for me. It's not for anybody else. It's not against anyone else. It's just what I want to create. So once you realize this, it makes it a lot easier for you to kind of accept that things are different for different people. It's like you could look at a billionaire's son or daughter and be like, oh, well, I wish I had that kind of money. Or you could just kind of accept that the situation that you're in is what it is. And it makes your life a lot easier to navigate because you don't have a chip on your shoulder feeling like you've been wronged. And you can just approach things in a way that's going to actually benefit your training.
But this is a broader one as well with the billionaire son thing. It's like you could envy someone else when really their situation might not be as good as yours. It might be worse than yours. Exactly, yeah. Like if someone's a billionaire son, it's like if you've ever been into some kind of video game, I'm always bringing this back to the bloody the RuneScape analogy. Because I used to love RuneScape, of course. Now I played RuneScape for years. I always wanted 99 range. I got 99 range, and you know what? After a couple of months, I quit after like 4 years of playing because it was boring. And the thing is, like earning money, building your own business and stuff. For example, like Kojo's Trick Lab, I don't make loads of money from that, but me trying my best at something, trying to monetize my passion and provide something for tricking and doing my absolute best and being able to make a living doing that feels great. But if I was some super rich guy's son and I just had enough money to live on, then it wouldn't mean anything at all. I wouldn't have gained anything. It wouldn't be exciting. It's like playing a game on sandbox mode isn't that fun. And the same thing with when you're like envying some other really good tricker. Like I've seen people who do get tricks pretty easily and they quit. Well, so maybe it's like there can be downsides. It can not be as fun for you.
But there is I don't know, going back to the point that if you're looking at someone and being like, oh, well, I can't give up on trying to be the best or whatever the case may be, it doesn't have to be a bad thing that you're just like shifting your perspective. You don't have to look at it like, oh, well, I'm giving up. It's like, well, no, I want something slightly different, because if I was starting at 35 years old, I wouldn't be able to look at all these 12-year-old children and be like, why am I not as good as them? It was because they've been doing it since they were 6 years old. I've just started and I'm a lot older and don't have the mobility, etc. So you need to just sometimes accept the circumstances that you have. Obviously try and make them as good as possible, but it makes life easier when you do.
But you can do amazing things with them. I think acknowledging you can do amazing things with the circumstances you have is great. Like you could still, I mean, my goal in tricking at the moment is to be able to do combos and move in a way that no one else can really do. Like maybe Shosei would do the exact same combo, but it's not going to look as cool. It's not going to look like a big man doing it.
Yeah.
So like I'm working more towards that, just doing things in a unique way, doing the tricks that I dream of in my head that I've always dreamt of, rather than trying to tick off a checklist of land this, land that. It's more like moving in the way that I want to move. And anyone can do that. Anyone, like, think when you started tricking, or when you've gotten a bit into it, what are the combos you dream of doing? Is it really just doing like a quad cork, or is it moving in your own way? Do you want to just do something that someone else has done lots of times, and you're just another person to do that, or provide something new? Because I think that's the most exciting bit. Anyone can provide something new. Yeah, you can start as an adult and you can still provide something new. You can have no gym and you can still provide something new.
Because the one thing you've got that they don't is your mind.
Yeah, your individual mind.
Exactly, and you could look at tricking and see something brand new that nobody's ever really seen. And the people that do that are the people that like. And it shouldn't be about but it shouldn't be about, you know, everybody else's view of you. But there's a reason that they do stand the test of time. There's a reason that people like Velu and Rasmusat and Anis and Teddy and all these different people, because at the time when they did the things that they were doing, no one else was doing it, and it really made history, I guess. And their level of fulfillment, obviously I don't know. But I know from me personally, the things that I enjoy most and that give me the most fulfillment is when I'm not just doing what everyone else has done. It's when I've done something that's like me. And
yeah.
So
Good answer, mate. Good answer.
So just be yourself,
just
bro.
Just express yourself.
Express yourself. You want butterflies coming out of your chest when you do your flips, you know?
Yeah.
Someone said, I love your aerial semi, by the way.
Who's aerial semi? Which one of us?
It's not gonna be mine.
It might be yours.
Nah, I don't
good at aerial semi.
You're way better at aerial semi.
I don't know. I do it too much.
I think we should.
Done it a lot. What? Looking at some of these. Yeah. Someone asked about TDR, and I do have the ultimate TDR guide on YouTube. Best TDR tutorial, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. But I'm gonna remake it because there's things missing that could be in there. There's no monsters. If you've seen the other ultimate guides, if you've seen the ultimate B-twist guide, ultimate switch guide, there's monsters. And in the ultimate TDR guide, no monsters. So I'm gonna have to refilm it. It's probably gonna take 100, 200 hours to do, but I'm gonna make it again. There's gonna be more information, better information, and there's gonna be monsters. So look forward to that. Yeah.
Magic Marson said, I'm a photographer in Birmingham and would like to do some action shots. Where's the best place to get involved? He messaged me actually. Message me.
We're in Portugal. Yeah, I was going to respond saying I moved to Portugal. I moved to Portugal. We're in Porto.
I'll be there in a couple of weeks.
At Christmas time.
Yeah.
Oh, but the weather's so bad though. I don't know. Omid will be there.
I'll be about.
He'll be about.
Depends. Someone said, what was it? But how many goals do you have at the same time?
You can have quite a few.
Yeah, this varies.
This is something I feel like I never explain well enough when I'm ranting about this and everyone's saying like, oh, but what about Guthrie? And then I go off on my normal rant about starting when you're 6. This is one thing I don't mention. You can have a lot of different goals as well. I have a bunch of goals. I'm working on, it's still loads of tricks. It's just not everything. It can still be loads of different things. Like at the moment, I'm working a lot on hurricane kick, a lot on different types of helicopteros, side swipe, semi, front swing stuff, front swings in general, cork, fei long, scissor grab stuff. You know, there's like, you can work on a lot of different things, but just not like every single thing.
But also shifting your perspective as to what timelines you have on your goals. Because like, I can start mentally prepping for a trick months before I actually attempt it, and I may not have a timeline in my head as to when I want to land the trick, but it's like, okay, once I've done these batch of tricks and I've worked on them for a little bit, maybe I'll shift my focus onto these, and then when I come back and like, it's because it's a balancing act. You can't just like be great at all of these tricks and then move on to brand new tricks and not do any of these, because you lose the skills, you lose the aerial awareness.
Which is something you don't see from videos of people. Because you see someone do something really easily and you assume, oh, they could just do it really easily now. But the thing is, if they've been working on a load of other stuff and haven't been working that, they're probably not going to be as good at it as they were. You've probably just seen the best clip, the best time they did it. So I think we get a warped perspective of what people can do. We kind of think, oh, I should be able to do like all of these tricks super well. But you don't realize lots of the best trickers, they can't do every trick really well at the same time. They might have done it really well years ago. That doesn't mean they could do it really well now, because they're working on different things.
Yeah.
Because you can't maintain everything to a really high level. There's too many tricks. There's just too many of them.
One of the other questions that we got, I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Word for word, it doesn't matter. But basically, the question was, how do you stay motivated when it comes to running?
Oh, you're running. You're a proper runner these days.
I'm a proper runner. I'm going to be a proper swimmer, a proper cyclist.
You're just going to wake up looking more and more like Mo Farah until one day I'm just going to be mistaken.
You just, I can't do it. Let's just leave it at that. So, now this kind of ability has to come from the right place, because you can get motivation from various different sources. It could be external, it could be internal, or it could be, I don't know, something else. But if your motivation is coming from an external place, then you're probably not going to be able to keep it up for decades at a time. And I think if it is something that you really want to do, you need to kind of look at the reasons why, and then ask yourself the question if you're still motivated. Because if you're not, then maybe you don't want it that bad. But for me, when I went through my ACL surgery, I remember I would literally lay on the floor in the old Garrison, and I'd be at the top of the stairs. I've just finished a day of work, I've been hobbling around, and I'd say to Kojo, I'm tired, I don't want to go to the gym. And the second I'd say that, I'd think to myself, right, okay, just get up and go and put your gym stuff on, because you can't not go to the gym once you got your gym stuff on. And it's just taking it step by step till you get to the point where you're in the gym and you feel better for doing it. And remind yourself that every time you do it, you feel better. And as long as you're doing it for the right reasons, then you're gonna be happy with doing it. So just run.
Exactly what he said. Also, just do it, just starting small.
Yeah,
that helps.
Yes, doing it step by step helps.
Someone said Kojo's keeping his hands like a Jedi, lol.
Okay,
I mean, that's my big secret, eh?
What?
Jedi Kojo.
What?
I'm actually, no, I won't say that. I was going to say something.
Yeah, don't.
I was going to say something dirty, but there's no need. This is a family-friendly show.
Oh, Willie's back. Big Willie's back.
Big Willie with his discus
that boy
chat.
Willie. He said, Omid, just start running and biking, but I didn't see any discus in there, buddy. Listen, imagine I make a...
Your own kind of triathlon.
Yeah.
Run, bike, discus.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I just throw things. I throw things as far as I can and then chase after them like a dog. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Should we wrap it up?
We should wrap it up. I've got my big idea, but I'm gonna talk about my big idea next time. I want to have some energy. It's been a long day. We're launching a new website soon. It's been a lot of work trying to do that. A lot of setbacks.
Why is it so hot?
I put the heating on. I like being warm, alright? I like being warm, man.
We hope you enjoyed. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. If you're watching live, then thank you for joining us. Everyone subscribe, like the video, and give us thumbs up.
Give us thumbs up, yeah. Tell your mates.
Alright.